What's up, guys? Boy, Benny. I love the game of politics because oftentimes you are pleasantly surprised at some of the twists and turns. And I gotta tell you, John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania who's had mental health issues, calling Donald Trump the king is not one that I had in my bingo card. Now, Joe Biden has called Donald Trump the great MAGA king earlier in the year. It sounded like this.
They're dead wrong. Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king, the deficit increased every single year he was president. The first year of my presidency.
But I don't think this is what John Fetterman was talking about when he subtweeted Ron DeSantis dropping out of the race, saying, if you come for the king, you best not miss. This is what John Fetterman posted, with a lot of people effectively saying that this is John Fetterman calling Donald Trump a king. Breaking, Ron DeSantis has suspended his campaign. And then John Fetterman posting this photo of Mickey Mouse as king. Some people are saying this is about Ron DeSantis' tax on Disney here in the state of Florida, but I don't think so. If you come for the king, you best not miss. I think it's more like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is our producer, great producer, ALX. You should go follow his account. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is more like a Trump endorsement. Is this a Trump endorsement? Based Fetty, vote Republican this November. You're saying Trump is king. This is the greatest face turn in history. We live in strange times. Fetterman is base now. Common Fetterman W. Weird. Man becomes more conservative as he regains brain function at the Babylon Bee. John Fetterman did check himself into a mental hospital for weeks after getting into the Senate. For depression and mental health issues, and then came out and was better and has now been tweeting things that are, well, I mean, I don't know if they're exactly based. Wait, is this a Trump endorsement? Like, everyone's like saying, wait a second, are you calling Donald Trump the king here? Because Ron DeSantis came for the king. I mean, the fight against Trump was obviously a much bigger fight than the fight against Disney for Ron DeSantis. So is this what he's talking about? Fetterman, based on his X account, yeah, I said it. The senator from Egypt has got to go. John Fetterman talking about his fellow Democrat senator, Bob Menendez, taking bribes from Egypt. John Fetterman holding up hoodies that he's gotten from cops and first responders. You don't see Democrats like praising the police or like backing the police. Obviously, I don't agree with everything John Fetterman. I probably agree with less than half of what I don't know, maybe less than 80% of what John Fetterman believes, but like, these are interesting things that you don't normally see. This is him up on his X account. What else about John Fetterman? John Fetterman saying that we need to secure the border, live on CNN. I don't understand why it's controversial to say we need to secure the border. We want to provide the American dream for any migrant, but it seems very difficult when you have 300,000 people showing up at the border to do that. John Fetterman saying the welfare state that we want as Democrats don't work when hundreds of millions of people, 10 million people who didn't pay into the welfare system come here to get free welfare.
Poll that indicated you have very high approval among Democratic voters, and this information in Pennsylvania, and this information came along with the tag that Twitter is not real life, because obviously a lot of progressives on Twitter have been attacking you for your position on Israel, for noting that, in your opinion, saying that there is a crisis at the border does not make one xenophobic. Why do you think you've been so criticized by so many progressives?
I honestly don't understand. I don't understand why it's controversial to anybody to decide that you're going to stand with Israel in this situation. I honestly don't understand why it's controversial to say we need a secure border. I've been very clear. In fact, that was weaponized against me as Republicans in my race, that I'm very much a strong supporter of immigration. And, you know, my wife's family, that's the Oregon story about that. And I think two things can be true at the same time. You can be very supportive of immigration, but we also need to have a secure border. And I think about immigration as we want to provide the American dream for any migrant. But it seems very difficult when you have 300,000 people showing up encountered at our border to do that. And I think we need to do a reset, and we have to work together and develop a new comprehensive solution to that. And that would also unlock a lot of the critical aid for Ukraine. Again, we cannot forget about Ukraine. That's that's critical for Israel and Taiwan. That's a very important kind of standard that we have to maintain, that we're going to support and stand with our allies.
Okay, so like John Fetterman saying that we have a crisis at the border. Again, you can, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if you are siding with Republicans on one of the biggest issues in the country, then that's a good thing. If you're going against Democrat corruption, Biden level Democrat corruption in your own party, that's a good thing. So you can like pick and choose, I guess, with John Fetterman. It's a really interesting and goofy guy. He's saying this on CNN. He's also saying this on Fox News.
I admit
there's a crisis at the border, and I don't know how anybody could pretend that there isn't.
So John Fetterman stating that there is a crisis at the, like why, again, I don't understand how or why this is even remotely controversial for a senator to say this. But if we are living in our, like the times that we live in where, right, 2 + 2 = 5, then it's controversial to just like say the things that are real. That's kind of neat. I mean, like what kind of world are we going to live in when John Fetterman is sitting here walking in front of like far left-wing Palestinian protesters waving an Israeli flag? What is this? He's like sitting there taunting his own side, waving a pro-Israel flag as they get arrested. Fetterman on fellow Senator Bob Menendez attending a classified briefing. I don't know why anybody would take a meeting with that sleazeball. He needs to go. We should have chucked him. I don't know why we haven't chucked him. I sure hope we eventually chuck him. Literally saying, I think it's my aversion to gold bars in your mattress, like trolling his fellow senator.
Senate floor today forcefully denied the allegations against him and said the government is trying to manipulate the media, poison the jury pool. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's a victim. Yeah, he's a victim. But hey, I've been calling for that sleazeball has to go. And I don't know why we have to get rid of Santos and we would keep somebody like him around.
He accused his colleagues, I guess that would include yourself, who called on him to resign or to leave Congress, of acting politically. What do you say to his accusation?
No, I think it's my aversion to gold bars in your mattress and over $500,000 stuffed around your house and changing your mind about, hey, which $24,000 watch am I going to get? It's just strange. And now when you're polling at 4%, why are you hanging around at this point? You have no future. But I can't imagine why we can keep him around.
Based. I mean, it really is honestly based. John Fetterman body double is based AF. People are saying. It's become clear that Fetterman was never a Democrat. He was just depressed. Yeah. And now that he's solved that little issue, John Fetterman is back and is based. John Fetterman body double is something that we have talked about on this program before. John Fetterman made a joke about this, obviously, in one of his posts, leaning into the joke, which is kind of nice to see people do. Leaning into the joke, making a video with his body double. Watch.
It's me, Senator John Fetterman, and I just want you to know that I'm back and I'm feeling great, 100%. And during my time during the hospital, the fringies really came up with a conspiracy that I have a body double. And I just want you to know that is just crazy. That's not true. And dude, John, what event am I supposed to be doing this afternoon? Dude, really?
Just the two of us. We can make.
Okay, it's like, we'll take what we can get. All right, we'll take what we can get. We asked John Fetterman's colleague, Mike Lee, who's also a senator, there's only 100 of them, about John Fetterman and say, if we can do that, hopefully we can replicate it for 100 senators. Whatever treatment that John Fetterman got, let's do it for 100 other senators, right? Was John Fetterman a Republican plant? I don't know. I don't have enough faith in Republicans for that. But here's what Republican Senator Mike Lee said about his based, newly, weirdly, slightly based colleague. Again, if the Democrat Party simply returned to the Democrat Party of like the 1990s or of, God help us, like the JFK era, we'd have the greatest country on earth. Unfortunately, they're Marxists now. And John Fetterman being able to say what's true about the border and say what's true about corruption in his own party and say what's true about law enforcement that we should like respect and protect them and not defund them, well, we'll take what we can get. So will Mike Lee. Here's a Republican senator from Utah saying whatever they gave John Fetterman, let's give it to the whole Senate. Watch. There's something else that makes no sense inside of the Senate, and I hope you don't mind me asking one final question here about one of your colleagues. I certainly don't mean this to be rude or anything about Senator Fetterman and his mental health struggles, but he seems to be the only person that entered the Senate as a extreme leftist and then went and got mental health counseling, righted his brain, and now he's on the right on virtually every single issue. Against China or foreign nationals buying up our farmland and our industries, siding against, obviously, the terrorist factions in Palestine, and then also siding with Republicans on major issues like immigration, saying that it's chaos at the border, along with election integrity. And so what's gone on? Like, what's going on? Is he going to like come out as a Trump supporter? I don't understand. Like, can you explain this to me? Also, I may say the number one campaigner against Bob Menendez is John Fetterman right now. Like harder, he's going harder against Bob Menendez than most Democrats, than most Republicans.
I don't know exactly by what process he got there, or whether it was input that he got in the course of hospitalization or whatever. But if we can find that, I hope we can replicate it and have all 100 senators go through it, because we'd all be better off. That America would be blessed as a result of deciding that. But you got to hand it to him. He has shown real guts. He's come out and called out the left on a whole bunch of things. He's shown he's independent-minded. One of my favorite things that I've seen from him personally in recent weeks, there was a Christmas party over at the White House. It was black tie. I hate wearing black tie. I just went in a suit. But he showed up in a hoodie with a tuxedo pattern silk screened on top of it. Serious props. I love that stuff.